Dude, I haven't been live in so long. We'll call this one Apocalypse RP Q&A. Server update and Q&A and build 42.20 Q&A. Damn, you know what we should do? We should make like a channel. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's too much. I was gonna say like maybe make a channel. We can do people can write questions in it and we can read it off. But I could do the exact same thing in Twitch chat, YouTube chat.
Why is Twitch making me watch a Halo advertisement? I don't care.
Dude, Halo. Dude, I haven't played Halo ever.
And I'm still not gonna play Halo again. I'm not playing this, dog.
Is you not a Halo fan?
I'm a huge Halo fan. That's why I'm not gonna play it.
Oh. Well, I don't like.
I love
like
the
activate
old
fucking.
games.
Like activate some fucking. Some receptors or some shit.
It's just like a lot of the remake and then the remake of the remake, both like viewed a lot of the stuff that Bungie did on the first few games as mistakes that needed to be corrected, and they made the game significantly worse by correcting those mistakes. So it's just like bad developers with egos convinced that they could do it better, and they couldn't, and it's bad.
What was the best Halo?
Gameplay wise, probably 2. Like overall full package, 3 for sure.
3, right? Yeah, I was gonna say 3.
Gameplay wise, 2 felt really clean. 3 polished it, but like didn't have the chaos that 2 did. I like the insanity that was the dual wielding meta.
Dude, I like the hard mode. Hard mode was super dope. Yo, what's up, Kojax?
Yeah. Legendary. I think it was on 2. The first level of 2, where you're fighting off the borders, is the most sloggiest, difficult legendary mission ever, because you're just stuck in a room with barely any cover versus a shitload of Covenant.
Yeah.
They just. And like if you even dare to get out of cover or get out of their line of sight, they throw 20 grenades.
Yeah, I remember that shit, dude.
Yeah, it was so bad. And all you have is the like beginning weapons because you're at the first mission, so you don't have anything crazy to deal with them.
That was good times, dude. Good fucking times.
Dude. Sniper Alley would have probably been the worst, but like everybody figured out a skip for it. I don't even remember learning that skip from anybody. I think I was just so frustrated by Sniper Alley, I learned the skip by just experimenting.
Yeah.
And then like everybody did that skip. I don't know anybody who didn't do it. So Sniper Alley on Legendary was something you experienced like once, and then you never did it again.
Oh, what's up, Fo? We just play Halo on 360? Yeah, good old days, brother. Good goddamn old days.
You're looking at the regional runner-up for the Arizona State Fair.
Sure,
Halo 1.
sure. Sure. Join the server. Alright, let me just do some last promo shit and we can get into this. And announce actually. You wanna announce it actually? Oh wait, no, actually I wanna put the links too, so it's I'll announce it. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. All right, links pinned in case any new players wants to join. I made an announcement. Dude, I wonder if like any other server does like Q&As. Surely, right?
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I don't really tend to participate in the Discord environment of most things I do, so I wouldn't really be the guy to ask.
Yeah, Lucas, I just said no. Take the high ground. It said I don't participate in your Discord tomfoolery.
No, I just mean in general. This is the first time I've really gone into like the multiplayer social aspect. I usually just kind of be a solo player in multiplayer environments.
I think a lot of people do that as well too. Yo, Kojux, appreciate the sub, my boy. How the hell do you spell poison?
Poison.
Oh. I was asking for a friend. I was asking for a friend. Dude, my fucking mic, my headphone keeps hitting my mic. Oh, that keeps pissing me off. Alright. There we are. There we are. Alright, Twitch pulled up. YouTube is pulled up. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Alright, well, welcome to the first ever Q&A of Apocalypse RP. I've honestly never thought we'd be doing a Q&A, but I feel like it's precedented, right? We've got a lot of stuff on the horizon. You've got a lot of stuff that you're dealing with behind the scenes, you know. The server does need some changes here and there. And we've got build 420 coming up. And we're sort of looking to tackle a whole different kind of gameplay style. Like, I don't know, dude. I've never seen a Zomboid gameplay where people are like doing some hard underground RPing. You know what I mean? Like a hard underground theme.
Yeah, a lot of that's going to be technical stuff because I mean, you can do underground stuff pretty easily. You just make the walls diggable, and that's the thing that we've seen mods that do that. But making that interesting is hard because you're just right-clicking on dirt and removing it over and over and over again.
Right.
So we're looking at more of like a game design situation than a mod to, you know, make digging possible or whatever. I could get that done in like 5 minutes, to be honest. It's the like adding in. I know, I'm very confident.
This guy.
but like making the world render in different types of stone and different types of like soil and things that come from the soil, for example, like coal or whatever, so they can have fires and things like that. That's going to be the stuff that makes it challenging.
We were talking about this like kind of in depth yesterday, right? We went through the whole like spiel of how it would start, what would be the gameplay loop, and then like how we would make it so it's not boring on people, and then like how we would situate like safe zones down there, and like we went through the whole spiel, and I think it's that's probably one of the most important parts too, right? We don't want it to be like a super boring, repetitive gameplay loop, where it's just you're digging dirt and that's it, you know, like.
Yeah.
So
the worst thing you could do would be, you know, create a scenario where people feel like they're doing chores. Like that is
Exactly.
an aspect of Zomboid that's like part of the game, but
Right, right.
you don't want to lean too heavily into that, you know.
So before we even get to that part, let's start with the current state, right? Let's start where we're currently at right now. Lennon, appreciate the sub, Lennon. And don't worry, guys, we'll be answering questions here in a minute. I'll go through questions. We'll get some questions. Is this an MP server? Yes, this is an MP server. J-Rod, link is pinned. Get inside there. Join the family. Let's start with our current state, dude. How do you feel? What do you think? Do you feel we're in a good spot, MP wise? With our current
Yeah, I
state?
think we're doing all right. The only things I've really noticed that are like technically a problem, I mean on the side of like the technical side, is the optimization that they did for us was, I don't know if you've probably noticed the cars loading in chunks as you're driving. That's because they've basically narrowed the amount of cells around us that are loading, and so you're loading the chunks like the chunks that would normally be further ahead of you that are loaded are
Right.
unloaded, and that's an optimization to give more memory to the active cells. So it's like a
Yeah.
little bit of a tit for tat, and
Yeah, yeah.
it looks like a technical problem, but it's actually kind of just a side effect of the optimization. Um, Other than that, the only other technical problem I'm really got on my radar is the audio issues, which I'm not sure if we're going to address before 4220, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure how high on the priority list it is, but basically the whole audio thing. If I understand correctly, you was telling me basically that there's like if there's too much audio going around in the world around you, then it overrides the audio coming from everyone else, which caused like for the bridge event, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
basically you
people
get 64 sounds, and
right.
once you get past that, it starts cutting sounds out or gets robot-y or whatever, because
Yeah.
it just doesn't have enough channels. Um, the thing that's frustrating about that is the F mod. When you load up, you'll see like F mod is in the bottom right corner of like one of the companies that they work with.
Yeah, yeah.
That has the capability of doing 1024 channels, but for some reason, maybe a good reason, maybe a bad reason, I don't know, it's limited to 64. So we're kind of just suffering from that artificial limit that
Right, right.
they've defined in the Java, and I can't like mod it out without creating like a custom launcher, which would be annoying and not really feasible. So yeah, like we're
For
just kind of suffering in that way from them doing that.
with our music event, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I think everyone heard each other. But then
No, it's
again, there
fine.
wasn't a
That's
lot of
kind
stuff going
of,
on in the background, right? There wasn't zombies nearby.
yeah, the zombies are the main culprits. It's you get 20 zombies making their little growling noise all at once. That's 20 channels consumed, right? So you got 30 dudes shooting, 30 dudes yelling, 35 zombies growling, and now your whole channels are all full. And if it tries to queue them up, but then if the queue is more than 3 milliseconds, it just deletes it, and that's why you just get the silent people who are completely silent. That's the side effect. That's what's causing that. Is that, like,
That's
it's not that the data is lost. It just goes, oh, too late, get out, and it deletes it.
But you remember when we had Auntie's funeral? We
Yeah,
we were having the same thing, but there wasn't anything happening in the background though.
there
Like
was though.
I'm
Do you
kind of
remember?
besides the helicopter event, right? Like besides the
Yeah,
helicopter event.
there was the helicopter event. There was a rainstorm going on. So all the sounds relating to the rain consume channels. If
Mm,
yeah, everyone talking consumes a channel. Anyone doing anything like walking around or whatever.
yeah, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Is it's literally any sound. Cars idling, whatever. Like if there's any sound at all, it consumes a channel.
It consumes the channel.
Yeah.
All right. So like you said, we're not too sure exactly how far in the priority list we're putting audio. Like I think just to mediate that in the future, we'll try to just keep that in mind moving forward with events. And just kind of limit how much zombies around. I mean, it's gonna be difficult to do, right? But we'll try to mediate that. Like I know I was talking about for events in the future, like ever since the bridge event, right? Like we've had that issue where people were just like crashing desync, you know, like watching 30 people march over to the bridge and then like thousands of zombies. It wasn't enough for the server. So since then we've upgraded the servers, of course, but also I kind of wanna break it into groups, right? Kind of like what I did with the radio broadcast thing for the siege. We'll send some teams west side of the map, some teams on the east side of the map, kind of separate it, hoping for the best that people won't crash. And then, of course, that'll help with the audio issue too. So that'll be we'll try to get that done for upcoming events.
Yeah, smaller, more focused things will definitely always help with memory issues and weird engine issues. Generally speaking, the server has handled the people spread out very well. Like, that's not actually been a problem, which is good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's only when we all get together that it kind of craps the bed.
Get together. And I still don't quite understand that, right? Because for like 100 player servers, you'll naturally have like 30 people in one spot or 20 people in one spot. Like,
well, just to give you one example that kind of might explain it, just on the audio side, what I was talking about earlier, it's like 70 megabits a second to, 70 kilobits a second to send audio from me to you in the game, right?
Yeah.
But if there's 30 people around me, I have to send that 30 times, right? Johnny shoots his gun, 30 people have to take that sound, right? 30 people have to process that animation. And so it's the data being sent to all the different clients simultaneously that causes the desyncs, by my understanding. This is one I'm not 100% on, but it's basically just like, now instead of sending it to 2 people, you're sending it to 30 people.
To 30 people, yeah.
And everybody is doing that. All 30 people are doing that at all times. They're all sending that data. So it's getting kind of clogged up in this big 30-way mishmash of crossing data streams. And that's where you get desyncs. Cars are an extreme example because they're going fast. But you can actually see, like, when a person's running, you can see them desync, right? It's just not as bad and obvious because they're not moving nearly as fast. So it's the like update position where their client knows that they are versus what you're seeing, what they're sending you. And that's where the desyncing starts, and it just gets worse and worse the more people because there's more and more data being sent.
Right. And would server memory size affect that in whatsoever? Do you think that would
to some
play a part in it
extent
whatsoever? Or is just
the
current build issue?
It's a current build issue. Server memory can mitigate it to some degree, but it's not gonna, like, if you had 6 billion petabytes of RAM, you still probably wouldn't. You'd still probably have desync issues because it's mostly related to communication. It's mostly related to data streams between clients.
Yeah.
So.
That makes sense. I mean, people reported that they've felt the upgrade, right? Like loading in's been a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and that's going to help a lot with if we do decide to do bigger events. It just prevents things outside the cell from interfering with our RAM allocation, like our client RAM allocation. So, because what they did was they optimized for our clients. It's not optimizing on the server. It's just so when you're at the bridge or whatever, the only thing you're loading is the bridge and like the 2 tiles around it.
Right.
So
right.
you're saving memory. You're not having those. You're not having the garbage collect nearly as often. So that's what the optimization did, and that's why we're seeing those like chunk loading while you're driving. But that's it's not a big price to pay. It's not like a huge problem. So I'd rather have the better RAM on the chunks that you're in.
Dude, I agree, dude. I agree. All right, let's talk about some shit real quick. Wait,
everybody loves technical discussion. It's so fun.
Give me a second.
Bits and bytes and boops and RAM.
Take the mic. Take the mic. Read some comments.
When are we adding sex? Never. Ban this man. I'm walking alone the road when I reach home. Me and My squad are pulling up heavy on your next stream. Add me on my Discord username Apex462. I'll think about it.
Hey, yo, Ada, pass me the chop, man.
I just had a prime sub to spare. I'm reading backwards. Don't worry about it, guys. DJ, dude, don't worry about it. Do we have a chat going on in Discord about this? Probably not. Am I entertaining the chat alone? All right. Instantly lost a dude just the second I said that. That's funny. Yeah, as far as all this goes, if you guys don't know, I'm Lemon or PB and Z in the server, and I generally handle. I'm in your server maybe since 2 or 3 weeks. And it's the best one MP server I found. Thanks, man. I generally handle the. Thank you, Mr. Lenin. I generally handle the technical stuff. I do modding and things like that, custom mods for the server. So, generally speaking, that's my area of expertise. And if you're wondering who I am and why I'm talking about it, that's what I'm doing. Right now, currently, I'm working on the underground mod. I built a prototype that failed absolutely. Step 1, step 0, couldn't even get into the ground. So, you know, that's the modding process for you. But that's what testing is for. So hopefully the next version can get into the ground. No, he does. You know, let me tell you, don't get that. The stuff where it's like marketing and social stuff, that is exhausting. I could never run a server because you have to do like community management, and I just want to code. I just want to sit in a box. I just want to come out every day and be like, here, I made a new thing. I'm going back into my hole. I don't want to deal with social stuff. That sucks. But yeah, I'm hoping at some point during this conversation, I'll be able to show you guys the earliest prototype on the digging. But it's not working. Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like entertaining a stream. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm choking. Prince just left me to hang here. Do you guys have any questions about like stuff? I don't know. I'm not. Give me something. Give me something. Yeah, that's pretty. That's about right. Bothered Wookiees. Yeah, that's probably an accurate description. Yeah, so that's actually something Dr. Dabidout. That's something that we've been talking about because what ended up happening is like all the big factions, including mine, got just we're filthy rich. We have all the loot you could ever want. I have like 7,000 items in my faction storage or whatever, and everybody else is like destitute poor. If you weren't there in the first wipe or whatever, you just didn't get anything. There's nothing for you to take. And we decided to like tone back the spawning to make a more scarce environment. But because of the hoarding, no, we're not. I know that's. I think I know who you are. We're not in the helicopter. But so we're not actually in a scarce environment. There are people who could just walk outside and pump shotgun shells down range for like 3 days straight and never run out of bullets, and then everybody else has 0 bullets. So it's kind of not a good environment for the community. So next season we're probably going to introduce something to prevent that. something that like I don't know. What do you guys think? We were thinking about vendoring money, like bullets, right? Like an admin vendor for bullets and guns and stuff. And the scarcity would come from the cost of the bullets, right? Bullet crafting is another idea. That's a bit of a weird one though, because like, okay, so what do you make the bullets out of? Like copper scrap or steel, or what do you make them out of? Bothered? And I'm not like calling you out. I'm like legitimately asking because that's like a big balance thing, right? Like let's say we make it okay. So that's like a thing, right? That's something we can do for sure. Oh, see, that's a good idea. That's not a bad idea at all. So what Bothered said was a different server had a great method. The vendor sold primers, but the bullets themselves needed to be crafted. Casings using scrap metal and stuff. Gunpowder using forage stuff. I would probably move gunpowder away from foraging if I was to do this because you kind of don't want, you don't want food and bullets to be on the same, like the same looting kind of path. Yeah, that's the thing is Lennon's got a point there. In my experience, bullet crafting mods are extremely overpowered. I mean, hell, even base games, you know, I tried to get Prince to install a crossbow mod, but the only good mod for 4219 came with like 700 other guns that were completely overpowered. But as far as making bullet mods, yeah, they're generally overpowered because even base game, just being able to turn 9mm into something useful is so overpowered because you find that shit everywhere. I think you can even find it on zombies. So yeah, no, it's just there's no good crossbow mods for 4219 that are like updated. And the problem with me as a modder is that I don't have the ability to make assets. I could make really shitty like Blender assets and stuff, but that's not my purview. So I kind of need like help. We need to get an animator or something to be able to make more shit like crossbows and stuff like that that isn't just systems related. But yeah, Bothered, you've got to really it's the same issue, Taz. It's the mod wasn't supported well. And I just can't make assets super well. So yeah, Bothered, I do like the idea though. That is something we can do as like the vendor idea to make it a little bit more involved. Is instead of just selling you guys bullets or something, we can sell you guys the parts to make bullets, and then you guys can you know, we could like sell gunpowder, and then you guys can craft your own casings and what's the tip called?
For what?
Well, the tip of the bullet. What the fuck? The actual bullet itself. Like, what's that called?
It's called the fucking tip of the bullet. I don't know.
Charge? Is it the charge? I think that's the charge.
The tip. Let's just call it the tip for all sake purposes.
Yeah. The tip. Just the tip.
The tip. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, Dr. Dab, we did look at that. It's just that 49. I don't know if you guys know this, but 4219 was a really brutal. 4218 and 19 were really brutal patches for mod makers. They changed a lot of Java classes in those two patches, and it didn't go. That's why you saw like most mods stopped updating around 4218. Because it just was so frustrating to every time you make a mod, it would be completely destroyed by the next patch. And then 19 comes out and does the exact same thing again. And I'm expecting 20 to do that as well.
To do the same
we're
thing.
going to have our own recovery journal. And it's going to have different rules. It's definitely not going to be 100%.
It's not. Yeah, it's well,
that was causing some degenerate play styles of like people jumping off of roofs and stuff because they had a cold.
Yeah, I don't want to point any fingers here, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that, right? Let's all right. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, you left me
Um,
to free for myself, so I've just been talking to chat.
it's good. That's good. That's good. You know, you got the YouTube one too. So
Oh, there's a YouTube stream? Shit. Okay, wait, hold on. How do I see that? Sorry, YouTube
it's,
stream. I didn't know you were there.
it's YouTube and Twitch. Okay.
Here, let's see.
So I'm going down my list here. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I got anything. Damn, I probably should have wrote this a lot more neater.
But just to assuage your guys' fears about the journal, I've already made like it's already in the game. There's a mod that tracks your experience and everything. So if like for some reason you die to like a glitch, we can still, even if we take out the
Should I
journal,
show
we
them?
can still recover your XP. Yeah, if it's actually working. I don't know.
Okay.
It's always hard for me to tell because I have so much client shit installed on my
Yeah.
side for updates. So yeah, show them if
So-
it's working now.
So as you guys know, this will be our interface that we'll be using a lot here. Death logs. Can someone in the server go and die? I need someone to go
No,
and
it
die.
should it should by
I'm
default
joking.
bring up like a list of everybody. You could like select. It should just say like alive and active. If it doesn't, it means some other mod is interfering with it, and I just need to find out what.
It just says module.
Yep. Oh, okay. How frustrating.
All right,
My
to
test
be
server
announced.
is not
To
as
be.
good. To be announced. It's still tracking. The log is active. I can see it in the I can see it in the what do you call it? Server. So.
Dude, I told you, bro. Like, if you need that test server, bro, you swear you don't need it.
It's just, dude, the process of launching a test server remotely is so fucking slow. In this conversation, talking to chat, I've launched my personal test server like 3 times.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like it's really fast. It's literally just a single bat commit, like a bat file that I just click it and it runs. And if I
But-
were to do a remote server, I would have to like move files into the server, test it, like launch it, and then manually like upload the files again for the next patch. And so it's like
But just to show people, right? Like, basically, we have the death logs here, and let me see if I can find a screenshot.
I had
of-
your stuff paused. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a screenshot. So basically, the
Oh,
death
God.
logs would look like this.
I got an advertisement. I don't know if that's everybody.
Just
Dude.
you specifically.
Just me. Well, it's because I got like I've got an ad blocker, so it's weird for me to see an advertisement.
So basically, this is kind of how it's gonna look. I don't really know how it's gonna look until I see it in action, but for the most part, this is how it's gonna look. Along with, we also got stuff like, let me see, file manager. Well, this would be obsolete then, right? The logs for perk log.
Yeah, it's all gonna be kind of. It's
That's
just
gonna be obsolete.
it's piggybacking off of some of that to get to get information, but it's not like what do you call
So
it?
for the most part, this will be inside of, like, you probably can't really see it that well, but for each player, right, we can see their carving, butchering, glassmaking, cleaning, etc., etc. That
We
would
can see
basically
all your live experience, like all the experience you've gained from your base. I'll just send you a screenshot of I think we had from.
and then you can
notice
see it says view gear, refund gear to admin, refund recovery XP, view current XP. So basically, stuff that you lose at the time, we can grab that, right? That'll prevent people from stealing your shit. XP, it'll be its own kind of thing.
The main goal for this one, like right now, there's an option to turn it on so that you can recover your own, right? Like but we probably aren't going to use that. And as far as the tax goes, like the fee or whatever, I mean that's just going to be the percentage that you lose. Another version that we talked about maybe is just setting a maximum level that you can recover.
Yeah, like
5 or
60% or 50.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 or 6 or something. So you're always especially if you've gotten really high level, you're incentivized not to die.
Yeah, that's that's a gameplay that we're trying to discourage here.
Yeah.
Gameplay we're kind of discourage.
The reason we went so hard in on the journal was, if you were here in the early days, people were just like dying to car stuff. Cars were freaking out because we had a bad mod that wasn't updated, and it was like you would get into your car and your car would jackknife into the air. You would suffer 15 car accidents worth of damage and die instantly, and it was just nothing you could do about it. You were SOL. So we needed the recovery journal because you could just die for no fault of your own.
Right.
And now that we've kind of gotten a lot of that stuff under control, it's not necessarily as important.
Yeah. I agree. What's some things here you want to touch on right now that we want to change? We talked about skill journals, right? We don't really like the gameplay loop for skill journals at the moment. Just incentivizes people to just kill themselves, come back brand new with all their shit, right? We want to discourage that. The economy, right? The economy is another thing, right, that needs to be kind of it needs to be worked on. It needs to be like catered to. It needs to be what's the word I'm looking for, right? It needs to be like tended to.
Yeah.
I
think the economy is always interesting because you have two options, right? The laissez-faire or the 5-year plan, right? And the laissez-faire, everyone just kind of started trading, bartering, so no one used the economy. So I guess next time we're gonna have to go 5-year plan on you guys.
But we mentioned earlier too yesterday, or I believe it was yesterday.
Coach, no, the drums don't work, by the way. It's the only instrument that doesn't work.
Yeah. So we were talking that like players that joined super early got an advantage, like a complete advantage over players that are more new, that joined maybe this month or so. So
yeah,
in the beginning, right, loot wasn't as scarce, right? Because mind you, right, we're a month and a half year old server, like we're pretty much brand spanking new. Loot wasn't scarce at all, and then we made loot scarce, which in turn new players didn't have they couldn't have access to, like, all the ammo that people had or all the guns people had. So it made this weird kind of dichotomy in a way, right? And now you got one half of the portion that's like want to use the economy to buy stuff, then you got the other half that just has everything at their disposal, right? So that's where we kind of wanted to go in with the events. We were like, okay, for this event we'll do this, and then it'll cause people to use their ammo, right? It'll make people use all their ammo, all their resources, and then we'll make ammo scarce, and then it's gonna be kind of like, like it's gonna be hard for people to get their hands on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we kind of maybe underestimated the quantity of ammo people had. That was like, even after 3 or 4 events, I still have like 15 cartons of shotgun shells. It's like, you can, well, then again, I also just go in hard with the sword, so maybe that's why. But there was also a bit of like a skill gap. Some of, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but like a lot of people were making strange choices on like what to loot and what, like, early on, and so we put ourselves in this position where like I'm not gonna name names, but one faction was like gonna starve to death, and this is a faction with access to like the early days. They could have gotten as much food as you could possibly imagine, and they're gonna starve to death. So now we have to consider like events or whatever, and the economy basically doesn't exist. So selling them food isn't really an option, and they're not trying to buy it. Like they don't even consider that as an option. So we gotta make sure that we get the economy like active and healthy to avoid stuff like that, because we had to step in and like help them, because they just were
Which
a bit newer.
I'm trying to think. Who are we talking about here?
I don't know if I want to name names. It'll embarrass them.
Alright, we
just
won't
know
name names
that
there. We won't name names there. We'll just say
one of the big factions needed to be basically bailed out because of some poor choices early on, and
Okay.
the economy would have fixed that, but because it was like artificially imposed from the top down and no one had really used it, they just never even considered that and didn't have the resources to use it. So we got to be more careful about that in the future. I really think that like a vending machine that sells something that everybody needs would be a good like get people to start using cash. Something like it sells rations or whatever.
And then also just a little backstory about the whole economy thing, just so people know how we evolved to this point. Our original idea was gold fragments, gold coins, silver fragments, silver coins, right? So you kill zombies, you harvest the jewelry off of them, you break it down, fragments have its own price, coins have their own price, and then from that you're able to buy stuff via admin vendor or even maybe other players. During that entire process, we added the vending machine mod, right? That was, I think, the first pinnacle of this whole thing. We added the vending machine mod. It was good. We liked it. It looked good. Everything was, we was actually quite impressed with how it turned out, right? And then we tried to remove it. I believe we tried to remove it, and it bricked the game, right? And looking back at it, we know what we did wrong for it to brick the game. But at that point, it bricked the game, and we was like, oh shit, we're stuck with the vending machines now. Okay, how could we make vending machines viable for us, right? And then that's when you created your mod to make it accept silver coins, right? You remember you made a mod for that shit. I think that was your first mod.
That was my first mod. Made for Zomboid, yeah.
And then I think I had the idea of like, hey, since it takes cash, it takes money, why can't we just make zombies drop more money? Like, we'll make 1 out of 4 zombies drop like money now. And then that worked, and then we just kind of stuck with that, the whole cash theme, and we scrapped the whole gold fragments, silver coins. That was supposed to be kept for like a separate kind of vendor, right? Like, I don't know if anyone remembers the CIA guys that just roll around the map, and if you catch them, you catch them, and they got special things that they sell that only you can get from them. But we never really got around to doing that, and it was a really good idea, dude. I did like the idea. They did make their appearance during the siege, right? Where they dropped off supplies. You know, the 2 CIA guys dropped off supplies for factions.
Yeah, Tony the tourist, and what was Eddie? Eddie Langley? No, Eddie
some shit, dude. I can't remember. But that's a little bit of backstory of how the economy system developed and where it is now. And then just moving forward, I think we were talking about just like for next season, when it's time to implement. Well, we actually got to think about that too, right? Because we're going to be starting underground. Like, how would an economy system fit into underground, right? Our original thought was like, okay, we'll just make weapons. You can barely find weapons. You can barely find ammo. The most thing you can find is supplies and food, right? And then those type of like, weapons and ammo and shit like that, you can basically just buy that. You can only buy that from vendors or machines. Kind of a way we got it now, but like I said earlier, the people that were here earlier already had an abundance of things. So it kind of threw off the whole like, oh, these guys don't got that much shit, but these guys do. So like everyone wasn't on the same page. I feel like if everyone was on the same page, people would be more inclined to visit vending machines and buying ammo and stuff like that. Which, don't get me wrong, dude, like, I'm starting to see the economy flourish a little bit more. You know, like, people were buying stuff from the car dealership. People are going to the vending machines and buying stuff. I remember Jinx wanted, like, an item, like, from an animal that you literally can't find at this point. And that was a good means to implement the economy as well there, too, right? So, in retrospect, just looking at it, right, moving forward, we'll try to incorporate it more, and everyone will start off on the same page. No one will have a head start here. It only happened this time because the server was new, right? And there wasn't that much people on, right? That's my take on it. The whole economy thing.
I think next time with that from stage 1, like, it'll be a lot better. You know, it'll be nice to have that foundation on, like, the beginning, so people know to collect cash or whatever we end up deciding from step 0. So there's not this like retroactive. It's like for example, I'm the leader of the Slayer faction, right? If you came to me, like, I've had people come to me and be like, "Yo, do you want to trade?" There is nothing you can trade me. I have every item in the game, and I have a bunch of them. I looted the entire city of Louisville, like every single thing in it, not just the guns and stuff. I took everything. So it's like, you could come to me with shag carpet. I've got more shag carpet than you. Like there's nothing that I don't possess. And
I'm
yeah,
not
it's not
even
hard.
trolling.
I'm not bragging, but
His
it just means
his
that, like,
ATM, dude, your ATM I think has like 10K items collectively in all of your shits.
yeah. And so what that meant was that you want me to engage in the economy, right? Because I have all the shit, but there's nothing you can offer me. Like, you can give me money, but it wouldn't do anything. I have nothing I would buy with it. And so that was kind of the problem with letting, like, well, again, new server. So, like, it was a new server. There was like 8 people total, and those 8 people just wiped the map. And those are pretty much the founding factions that you know of. Those were those people, basically.
Yeah.
So,
The big factions you guys see now, like the Task Force, the Slayers. I know TLPD came a little bit after that, but for the most part, yeah. They
were lucky. They came right after a wipe, so they could actually find stuff.
Yeah. So you're thinking, like, maybe when it is time to, like, let's say hypothetical here, right? Say we do the underground bunker thing, and then it's time to branch out, and players can now go above ground and go loot as they wish. Loot. What are you thinking on loot? Like, it's just super scarce all across the board, except maybe the exception for food.
To be honest, if we're continuing the story, my suggestion, and you know, this is to be discussed, would be there's no guns, right? Like, at all. And that is supplied diegetically, quote unquote, you know, using serious words. That gets provided to us through the external connections, like the U.S. government or the remainders of it, things like that. So it doesn't turn into a big faction gets up at 3 a.m. on a wipe day and hits every single gun shop in the server, and then they have all the bullets. Like, you want to, like, I don't like that scenario.
That was
an issue we had, yeah, for sure.
There were certain people camping in front of spots on loot day. I mean, on refresh, and then it's like, yeah, they just cleared out everything, and no one was able to get anything.
I have a lot to do right in front of the West Point gun store. I'm just helping this other guy out for 12 hours while I wait for the wipe that I know is coming. Yeah,
and that's partially our fault too, right? We let insider information get out, but it's like we didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't expect that to be used against us. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, and that's
it sucks, dude. It sucks.
That's a big learning point for us, for, like, transitioning from just a bunch of dudes playing on a server to, like, running an actual server.
Right, yeah.
Because, boy, was that a rough transition.
Indeed, bro, indeed. Oh, man. All right, but let's okay, okay.
Let, Lenin, I will agree. Like you're preaching to the choir on this one. I use swords; they're the best weapon in the game for me, right? But a lot of people, in single player, don't get far enough to be, start blasting. So they kind of want to experience the gunplay through multiplayer and kind of skip that early, like the 100-hour gameplay to get to the part where you start shooting things. So it is good to offer guns, but it's bad to offer too many guns too early.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
Let's touch on safe zones. Let's touch on safe zones. Like, I feel like this needs to be addressed as well too. Current state of safe zones. I'm not a big fan of the current state of safe zones, and moving into the next season, it's going to be done a little bit differently. So the one safe zone thing, right? It was kind of a nuisance, right? Like, people wanted more safe zones. They didn't like the system where there was a part of a safe zone, and if they wanted to visit a friend, they'd have to leave their safe zone to just to enter their house. So with that being said, we took that feedback and we're like, okay, we'll add something in that'll allow people multiple safe zones, right? And I might have messed up a little bit, giving people 3 safe zones. But the the idea was you'd use 2 safe zones, and then one would be a courtesy if you wanted to join, if you wanted to visit a friend. So you got 2 safe zones, and then one would be just courtesy, right? That basically led to people just claiming 3 safe zones for themselves, taking over entire places. I know certain people was using other faction members to expand.
Supporting each other to use their safe zones to expand even further.
Yeah, and then that would cause like a huge cell of the map just to be for one freaking player, you know what I mean, or one faction, so to say. And I didn't really like that, right? I didn't really like that. So moving forward, we're gonna be doing the one safe zone rule, but we're gonna have a system, or we're gonna be working on a system. What would we call the system? We'll call it the knock system, the knock system.
Knocking, or like
the knock system.
Yeah.
We'll call it the knock system, the guest system, whatever you guys want to call it. You'll have one safe zone, which is going to be your main safe zone. And if you want to visit a friend, basically Lemon is going to concoct a mod, right, that you can basically knock on a safe zone, another survivor safe zone, and they'll have to grant you access to come inside. Right, so say if I go to Slayer's base, I got my one safe zone. I just like right click on his base. I click like knock or whatever. He'll might get the notification on his end, and he'll be able to allow me to grant me access or deny me access. And then from that, I'm thinking maybe you just have access until you leave the safe zone. Then it just resets. Something like that. That's what we're kind of thinking, right? And then that way too, wipes in the future will be a lot more fluid, right? A lot more fluid. You can go if you want to touch on anything with the safe zone.
The what we're looking at for the next season is going to be a little bit more interesting, because the plan is, if you're living in, like, we're doing mole people build, right? That's what won the poll. And if everybody's in a bunker together, who gets to claim the safe zone? Right? Is there any point in claiming the safe zone? So we're gonna probably have to work around it and make, instead of having like a single large claim a building, instead you claim a section, like claim like a room or whatever.
And
so that's gonna basically probably be like a whole new safe zone system, to be honest, from the base. Well, like, Jeeves kind of works like that right now, but the problem is Jeeves might not be updated for 4220.
Yeah.
And also Jeeves has other problems that are kind of upsetting us. So.
And we'll touch more, like, I'm gonna kind of do this chronologically, right? So we'll touch on stuff with the server going on, and then after this, we'll touch on our plan for the mole people, the underground city, which will include how safe zones will function too, right? So we'll get more into that as well as we proceed here. Let me think what else. Such the economy, the safe zone, the loot pool, right? Let me see.
I mean, like, what do you guys want to know about?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. If you guys got any
we can
questions
talk
for
through
right
it,
now,
but-
drop that. I'll be right back. The chat's all yours, bro.
Also, Wasp, what are you talking about being dead or you're like not recognized by the state? What the hell? I haven't seen
No,
you around, but I don't know what
No,
happened to him.
he's he's been
Was he
exiled.
dead?
Let's say
Oh,
he's been
good.
exiled.
Okay. I mean, he did drink like 50 gallons of driving juice and then crash your truck, which is pretty funny.
So we might bring him back in, but I don't know, dude. He's been on some weird shit lately.
Musketeer, we
I'll
are
be back.
looking at options for PvP. This hasn't been heavily discussed because the way the system works isn't super great, and it's going to change in 4220. But there's tools to do like zone enabled PvP. We're looking at stuff like that, or like like I don't know how to describe this, but let's call it faction war, right? Where like two factions can declare war on each other, and then maybe PvP is authorized between those two factions for a set amount of time or whatever, something like that, where the PvP is situational. We're definitely not just going to be a full PvP server, especially not next season where everyone's expected to like live somewhat close together. That would be a nightmare. So we're looking at like PvP scenarios. One thing that I actually am workshopping. Prince. I haven't talked to Prince about this. I've just been experimenting, but making like a PvP zone where, because what the problem we have is that I can't force you guys into PvP. I literally can't toggle it for you. You have to toggle it, and the only way to not do that is to set the entire server to automatically be on PvP. So make a system where like while you're in this zone you don't gain any progress if you're not in PvP and you can't loot or whatever, but once you turn PvP on you can contest the objective or whatever, like a King of the Hill style system. So I was workshopping that, and it was a buggy mess, don't get me wrong, but the bones are there for something like that. But PvP is, if it is added, it's going to be extremely situational and limited to an area or a situation. Does mid-rollers mean ads? I'm not familiar with Twitch terminology. It feels like ads. Oh wait, or can he not hear me if he's watching ads? That sucks. That's weird. Twitch is weird. But yeah, any other questions? I'm gonna try to get him to show you guys where No, I agree, Mr. Lennon. Yeah. Oh, he got busted. We've run into problems where like PvP would be the solution, and so it's not off the table. It's definitely something we want to do. It's just that like you've seen how mad people get about regular stuff. Imagine if it was killing each other. One thing I will say is that if we do have PvP, it's probably not going to be full loot. I've already built a system where you can like transport someone's gear when they die, like instantly. So we might do something like you don't lose everything if you die in PvP. Like let's say we make a PvP zone or whatever. I already have the mechanism in place to save items from somebody who died. So if we do PvP, it's probably not going to be full loot. It's probably either going to be partial loot or some other reward. Yeah, that would have been a really good case to have real PvP. Oh, it's you. I remember you walking up and dying in the middle of the night. What'd you get banned for? My first night on the server, that you died sprinting through a pitch black night and getting bit right outside the door we were hiding in. I have no idea what the delay is, so I'm just kind of filling the gaps. Sorry if I'm you know, not giving you time to respond. Also, I want to get him to show you guys. We have underground. I did it. We have underground and we have different types of soil. Dude, yeah, I actually have the stream paused. I'm just reading the chat. I'm in the stream. I don't need to watch it. So yeah, don't dupe items, you fucking. Listen, we want to live. Do we want to live in a society where people abuse every exploit they find the second they find it? No. All right. We want to live in a good society. This cat and mouse shit with duping and stuff it's not fun.
What's up? What's up? Who's duping shit?
I guess Foe is back. He's in your chat. I guess he got banned for duping or something.
Yeah, dude. Yes, yeah. It's I won't touch on it here. We just make a ticket, dude. Make a ticket. We'll discuss that. Oh, my, bring you back in. All right. Remember I was telling you about the whole kitten thing? Yeah, my.
So the underground question is a deep one, but
Fuck no, dude.
No, so to Real Musketeer, I'll go over kind of the basics. The plan is to have some kind of centralized location, or several maybe, where you can dig out from. And then as far as like the resources, they'll come from like 3 tiers, right? It would be basements are your lowest tier. Your storage, like underground storage, would be your second tier, and then like military would be your third tier, right? And you'll need different tools to get into them, so you can't just take a shovel and dig into a bunker, right? You need to get a jackhammer or explosives or something. And so expansion will kind of have a progression that way, and you'll also be able, assuming I can figure out how to do it, you'll have a skill that will like make you better at digging, so you can dig faster and faster and get further and further. And because cars and stuff aren't going to be available while you're underground, there will be some kind of quest or like player event that would create fast travel. So, you know, you guys could put down tracks or something. So we were actually talking about this last night. There will be claimable space, but it probably won't just be like, it'll be preset, right? Like, we don't want you guys like digging out a cave and then like claiming it as a faction base. Mainly to kind of maintain the whole community thing. But once like you get to another city and you find like a big underground bunker there, then yeah, probably someone, like, you might not be able to claim it, but like a new city will form in that area, right?
Right.
So something like that. We're still workshopping the exact mechanics of it, but what we don't want is like dirt bases, right? We don't want people building like big faction dirt bases. As cool as that is, like, it'd be better if you guys, if there was like cities, you know? The whole kind of theme of this one is community. It's like building communities.
And even still, dude, I feel like the whole concept of like the bunk. Oh, dude, we're gonna get into it. Dude, we've actually got a lot, dude. I wrote down a lot for this whole bunker thing. Like, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
It's effectively, we're making a new game.
Yeah, pretty much, dude.
Like the amount of shit that's going into this.
Pretty much.
Show him that screenshot I sent you. That's
Okay.
welcome to the underground, baby.
Oh
That's
my
prototype.
god.
Yeah.
Boy, what's this?
That's prototype 0, baby. That's what where it all begins.
Prototype 0 is insane, dude.
Yeah, and it generated what I wanted, which was I'm gonna tweak it, but the tiles that I'm digging are not just dirt. They can generate as one of 6 types of dirt, like limestone, stone, loam, or whatever, and so that allows for us to do things like some areas are easier to access and stuff. Yeah, so pretty proud that that's working.
Nice.
It looks great, doesn't it?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
looks
it.
so
It's a nice
good.
little rough draft. Nice little rough draft.
Yeah. So
Nice rough draft.
proof of concept. And as far the things that worry me about this is that the server load, or not the server load, the client load. The server will be fine. Because with the client loading everything in the chunk above it, you could end up in situations where, like, if you go under a farm, all the sheep pathing and stuff could cause you to lag, or zombies or whatever. So I'm gonna have to do some work on culling that stuff to prevent it.
Yeah. All right. Let's I still got some few stuff here that I want to touch on as well. All right. So we talked about the economy, right? What we're gonna do to just better implement the economy. Let's touch on animals. Like animals is like we had a weird one with animals. Like, what's up?
They're just fundamentally broken in 4219.
Yeah, I mean it was working at some point, and then they just disappeared, which might have been my
Even
fault.
when they're working, they're still not working. Like I said, I've had sheep that have been pregnant for 2 years. Like they're just not doing what they're supposed to do. Animal generation just doesn't seem to be happening, even though it was on high, right?
We buffed it a little bit. We buffed it. I don't think it's on high, but we did buff it. Actually, I think so. Yeah. Let me check actually.
The sheep that I let go in Irvington, because you have to, like, if you don't want to take everything from that place, you just release them, and then they'll go fend for themselves. They are all gone.
It's on very often.
Yeah.
Which is the default. Often. Yeah, I mean,
you'd be seeing deer all over the highways and stuff, which you aren't right now. Yeah, animals are just kind of busted in multiplayer, to be honest.
Plans.
Yeah, if I was to do something about it, I would just fix them. To be honest, I don't know. Just make them work like they do in vanilla.
I mean, I had a rough idea of how to possibly fix it if it ever does come to, like, we're above ground and people are looking for food, or maybe scenarios where people can emerge and they can go loot for food, like, you know, look for food real quick, and maybe they run across a deer or something. If it ever gets this bad as it is now, I was thinking more so we just manually introduce animals into the server. Like, that's literally the only thing we can't do.
Well,
it's just introduce animals to the server.
I'm just saying that Dolly the sheep was 1996. They had the technology.
Yeah, I pick up what you're putting down.
What year is it right now? It's 1995, right? We're just getting into 1995. I'm just saying, like underground lab.
Oh, hell no, dude. You want to genetically make animals, dude?
I'm just saying they had the technology. They were doing it at this exact time in history, 1995.
Dude, that's like illegal, dude. That's illegal in many states.
Yeah, but it wasn't back then, dude. They cloned Dolly.
I did not know that was a thing. Interesting.
Yeah, 1995. So I'm just saying there could be an event where they break into a laboratory and they find a bunch of sheep or something, you know?
That's funny. Clone Lemon having an army of coders.
You could try. You know how long that would last? Like 4 seconds. we would kill each other in like 4 seconds, and it would be over Warhammer lore. I would disagree with myself about something from Warhammer, and we would end up killing each other.
All right. Economy. We touched on economy. The animals. We just briefly touched on it. I mean, there's really not much we can do about animals, but most we can do is
Worst case
just
scenario, we manually chart.
step in. Yeah, we like. It's sort of like a lion hunting a gazelle, right? You feel bad for the gazelle. Do you intervene? You know what I mean? It's nature. We might intervene if it comes to it.
Yeah.
Oh, we touched on loot consistency and what our plans is for like next season. Let's just say it's not gonna be as abundant. Even though I think now it's not abundant, but everyone's gonna be on the same page on this one, right? So not one faction will have like an abundance of items. The skill book, you did mention about the skill book, like I did leak earlier too that we're gonna be removing the skill book in like a week or so, and we'll introduce a CDC events where players are gonna have to race to get a cure. So maybe work on that now. Of course, that's gonna transfer over, right? We're still conceptualizing like rewards and stuff like that and perks, but I kind of wanted the chance to transfer over into the next season, right? The lore, so it's like, okay, these guys made it to the next season with the cure, or maybe they might be in Armageddon at the last few days, and then like everyone dies except for the people with the cure or some shit. I don't know. We'll think of something clever. But the skill book, right? We've got our own skill book kind of situation on the way, our own way to mediate that. The safe house, I touched on the safe house, right? It's gonna be the one safe house policy with you're able to kind of knock on other people's safe houses to gain access to it. Whitelist for preserving safe house. Wipes. Oh, wipes, dude. Do you want to talk about wipes?
Yeah, we had a conversation about this, but you guys might have noticed that the general mood of the server has shifted down since we know the wipe is coming. So I think that we need to make the executive decision to just not let you guys know when wipes are coming. Minimum advance warning. Now you'll know that now, like up front, you'll know it. But when wipes occur, there's not going to be like a 2-week notice. It's going to be one day, right? We're wiping tomorrow or the day after or whatever. Because that way people don't get this, like, there's no point in me building or playing or whatever because the wipe is in a week. You keep that kind of like fresh. And we do want to consider things of like things to bring over into the next wipe. But it's going to be more esoteric than just stats or items. It's going to be, like one proposed idea was like themed items for players who were important during the events of the previous season or whatever. Like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with my faction.
I got it written down. We'll touch on that too. Like, I think that's a really cool implementation as well, right? Like the themed factions, the theme lore for factions. So like example, right? Just an example. Say we emerge from being mole people, and then one of the quests or missions is to go to the old Raven Task Force base or the old army base and recover some lost items that were there from previous season. You get there and there's like themed items, like each faction kind of have their own theme. Might work in individual players as well too, but that's an idea that we're willing to explore. And I mean, we've got more stuff too. We'll touch on this in a few as well too, but yeah, that's general idea. Like
and the idea I keep trying to sell Prince is like soulbound items, which can help me convince Prince to do this. But basically, just an item that you can name or whatever, and then it starts off weak, and every time you get a zombie kill with it, it gets stronger and stronger, but it still breaks, and you still have to repair it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but
fucking
by the end
salad.
of the server, you've got like a broken bottle that you picked up. It is like
It's
it's
one-shotting people.
2,000 attacks per second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Progression weapon, yeah, in a sense, in a sense. Oh, you know,
But I
well,
would want that. I would want that system in its server that doesn't have XP recovery at all, because that would be your XP recovery. That would be your like your consolation for dying. Would be that weapon continues to grow no matter how many times you die. So, you know, you have a shotgun. You named a shotgun or whatever, and you've killed 5,000 zombies with it, and now it refunds ammo. It refunds more ammo than it spends, and it can shoot like 62 times before you reload or whatever. But it
yeah.
starts off as like a normal shotgun, and you have to repair it a bunch and all that stuff. So
Yeah, dude, we actually had some really funny ideas yesterday. We actually had some pretty funny ideas with the whole Easter egg items for certain players.
yeah,
Like your bunny
that was
ears
fun.
and
I
my
like those.
bag and like
My themed item that I want added for my character is a bunny suit that gives you run speed. So if you wear the ears, the bunny suit, and the tail at the same time, you gain bonus run speed. And then yeah, that's all my set would do for you.
and mind you, these are like Easter egg items that'll be like hard to fucking find. It's an idea, right? But it's funny
We
as
have a
hell, right?
suggestions, Doctor. We have a suggestion channel in the Discord.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I would love to give you a date, CalSag143, but Indy Stone has not told us. It's whenever the fuck Indy Stone. Sorry, whenever the Indy Stone
yeah, yeah.
launches 42.20.
And I'm just pulling this up on screen, right, so people can see this. It says, due to a large content update, unfortunately, 42.19 save games will not be transferable to 42.20. However, you have at least a few weeks before the release from this point to play out your games. And 42.19 will still be available on the outdated, unstable branch if you choose. The key words here, at least a few weeks before the release from this point. They said this 2 weeks ago. So,
Yeah.
we're kind of, we
Literally
don't,
any day now.
yeah, we don't know if they're like bullshitting us and it's going to still take like 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, or it could drop tomorrow. We don't know. You know, we're just kind of going with the flow
Whatever
at this point.
the most inconvenient time, that's the time that it's going to drop. It's like when we
Yeah.
were like, all right, guys, tomorrow we're doing this. That morning, that tomorrow starts. That's when they drop it. I promise.
Let's move forward, right? So we talked about the safe zones, the safe houses, with wipes and stuff. Now, will save houses or safe zones be saved with wipes? That's another thing we talked about too.
So we were looking
go
at
ahead.
this. Yeah, we were looking at this, and with the storage mod that I made, the storage saves through wipes, through soft wipes. So that presents us with this unique opportunity of like you can lose your base but keep your items. And so what we were thinking about was, instead of saving every tiny safe house that's like a shack in the woods or whatever, you have to submit for approval to keep your safe house. And basically, like, your safe house has to just show some sign of development, right? Like, it's not going to be a super high
Quota.
bar to get past.
Yeah.
But like, we don't want to waste a lot of time and effort preserving little shacks that have no development, because you're not going to lose your items. So
right.
it would be like, we're considering doing something more more targeted, like factions would keep their bases, people who've built big structures or walls or whatever might keep their base,
And
people who are just like claiming a house to sleep for the night, that wouldn't get preserved, right?
Yeah, and I'll show some examples here. Shout out to everyone who's dropping stuff inside the media channel. You know, this is what it's kind of for. You know, you guys can scroll through, look at everything. Kind of want it to be like a gallery in a way. But for example, right, like if someone, let's see if I can find a safe zone. Let's see if I can find one. Let's say someone something like this, right? Like, we wouldn't preserve this, right? Let's see if I can find another good example. Like, you know, this, we wouldn't preserve this. This, we would probably preserve this, right? What are your thoughts on this? This is like, this is a lot of work that went into this right here.
Yeah, I would say like yeah, like they're clearly, you know, they're not like a vanilla building, right?
It's the intention
it's gonna
that's
take
behind
them
it, right?
effort to get back to this. So I would say
Right.
preserve it.
Stuff like
But,
that.
yeah,
Kujaks, like, I don't know if you guys seen what Kujaks built, but Kujaks built an insane structure. We would preserve stuff like this, but if it's like a house with like a few boards on the windows and maybe like, I don't know, a little fence going around the chicken coop or something, we might not preserve that. But you guys, if you do feel like it's worthy, we'll have a separate channel where you guys can submit it. We'll take a look at it, we'll review it, and be like, okay, we'll save this, and then we won't save this.
and just
That's
to
how we're
clarify,
planning.
this isn't like an arbitrary choice. The tool to save your safe house is not accurate. So if you've got like a little tiny shitbox house in the middle of whatever town, a bunch of cells around your house are going to get preserved in the wipe. And like, you know, let's say that you are close to the West Point gun store. The West Point gun store is not going to respawn because your little house claimed, right? So
True that, yeah.
we want to like avoid, you know, having entire cities not respawning during a wipe because there's like a bunch of little houses claimed, right? And that's kind of why
Right.
we want to be more selective this time versus
Mhm.
because like I don't know if you've noticed, the soft wipe happens but there's still no loot anywhere. A lot of that is because there are so many safe houses that basically entire cities are just not getting refreshed properly.
Yeah, I could drop a screenshot here too. Okay.
Yeah, I think you have that map. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drop a screenshot. But it was
So-
it was pretty
Yeah.
insane, like how many houses, like, and I'm all for it, dude. I like it. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to see. Like we was even talking about it. Like holy shit! Like everyone, the server hit every single.
Oh,
The
nice
server, the server hit every single part of the map. Like there was like 2 parts that were left out that no one touched.
we found 2 roads in Irvington.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. 2 roads in Irvington that had not been loaded. Every
Yeah.
other road and part of the server had been loaded.
And then the safe houses was all like scattered through it. I know West Point had a bunch inside. Rosewood is a good example too, because if you look at Rosewood, map, like here, and I can show you grid cells too here. So if you guys look here, if there's a house here and a house over here, that's the entirety of Rosewood. That's the entirety of Rosewood. These 2 cells would be preserved. Nothing would refresh here. These would stay the same because it keeps specific cells, right? So Rosewood is just cooked, right? No one's getting loot in Rosewood. You'd have to venture out for that. So we'll keep that in mind moving forward as well. Like Lemon said, we'll be more selective on which ones we're gonna preserve. We're kind of going with big factions. Like big factions will be preserved, right? Like what were we saying about the big factions?
I mean, as long as they do the work, like as long as they've developed like a base. And
If it's a
preserve it,
developed
right?
faction, we'll say that.
If it's a,
a
yeah,
developed
and
faction.
same with a house. Like if you build a 2-story house with like all the fixins, then we'll probably preserve your stuff too.
Right.
We just don't want entire cities not being respawned. Now there is a bit of a silver lining on this. I have to wait to see what 42.20 changes, but theoretically, it is currently possible to do a refresh on a tile by tile basis. Yeah, let us know, Calisag. We definitely need somebody with art. You may have noticed
actually
that
do.
we do AI stuff, but that's because between the 2 of us, we have the artistic talent of a dead rat.
Dude, come on, mine is way better than yours, though, bro. You can't even lie,
yes,
dude.
you know, your dead rat has more life. That is for sure.
You can't lie. Mine is better, bro. Chill.
But
That's funny.
But yeah, we do need artists because it's like not good. I don't like using AI if I can avoid it.
Me neither, dude. Right? Me neither. But you know what? Like you said with your thing, right? You tried to do a project one time. You couldn't find anyone on Fiverr, or you couldn't source anyone to do it, and all you had was a AI. Like that's
Yeah.
the only thing you had.
I
at your
literally
disposal.
tried to pay more than 4 artists and could not do it. I could not get a
Exactly,
product
right.
for my money. So yeah, like if you're an artist and you want to do stuff, please let us know.
And I
Obviously,
do want to preface. I do want to say this, that it might just be volunteer work in the beginning. If anyone out there is an artist of any form, I'm more than welcome to add your arts to banners, to the UI, to marketing stuff for getting the server out there, YouTube wise, all that good shebang, all that stuff. But
he's
for the
paying
time
you
being,
exposure.
it's
Don't
for
worry, he's
that
paying me
too,
an
right?
exposure
That
too.
right, yeah. So I expose them, yes. I expose them quite often.
Gross. Save it.
But that's for the most part, right? And also, do you wanna touch on, since we're on like server stuff? Do you want to touch on our little lore book that we got, that we want to plan?
Yeah, something that's in the works that it's not going to be super difficult, but we're basically making a lore book. And this kind of, we were hoping to find an artist for this actually, that kind of goes through the story of the server and is readable in game, and is like and more than just the shitty Zomboid journal interface, but like an actual book that you could like, you know, if you guys think Skyrim, where you like open up the book and it's got the text or whatever. And then hopefully with like illustrations as if one of us, like as survivors, drew it. And
So-
we could workshop that with whoever.
Let me give them a little example of that. And also before that, is that like a Kanye scarf that you got on? Is that like the little Kanye?
That's
Arab scarf?
no, that's a oh, there's a word for it. I know the word.
It's the Arab
Not
kind of
looking it up.
like scarf, no?
Shimag.
Huh. I don't know. I've never seen that. It's
I'm
actually
sure
really
Kanye
cool.
has worn one at one point. That guy's worn.
No,
it.
he made it super popular back in the early 2000s. Remember he was wearing it, and then everyone started wearing that shit. You remember that
I'm
shit,
not,
dude?
I'm not
Kanye?
hip on the Kanye lore. I'm sorry, dude.
It's alright, it's alright,
I
it's
just
alright.
know he's dope and he does dope shit.
He's Kanye, dude. He's Kanye. But like, I mean, you heard
All I
his.
know about Kanye.
Let's actually not get into the Kanye thing right now, right? We don't want to get demonetized just yet.
Yeah,
But,
that's Kanye's a sensitive subject.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was just about to say one of his songs, his popular songs, that's on no freaking streaming platform because it's quote unquote super offensive. But we'll leave that.
Right.
So going back to the lore book, right? So think about this. You're a survivor. You're out there looting, shooting, etc., and you stumble across Apocalypse RP book or whatever we name it, right? It's a different book. You haven't seen this book in the game, and you're like, oh shit, what's this? You pick up the book and you read it, and it'll be basically chapters of each season that we went through, right? So like you pick it up, say there's like Apocalypse RP chapter 1, Apocalypse RP chapter 2, 3, 4, etc. Pick it up. When you read it, there'll be like an image, right? So like say the first image would be of the convoy mission, right? There'll be an illustration of survivors walking alongside the convoy, shooting zombies, and there'll be like a little brief description. Flip the page, maybe it might be an image of like survivors unloading the convoy, or maybe someone dying during the convoy mission, and it'll briefly describe that. And that would be for the convoy mission, that would be for the 3-day siege, that would be for, you know, Auntie's funeral that we had. It'll be for the music festival, for the sprinters that we have, the whole CDC thing that we got. It'll be like you can read it. It'll be an interactive book that you'll be able to read. And in theory, it sounds really good, and I think it'll be really cool. and I'm actually super excited for that, right? Like a book where you guys will be inside this book. Like you guys will be in the book. You know what I mean? And new players come, they read the book, they'll be like, hey, wait, who the hell is Auntie? Like, I don't know. And then they go around and then they see the landmark. You know, they go to her base and they see the landmark there too, and they're like, oh shit, that was in the book that I just read. I've never seen no shit like that in Zomboid, right? So that'll be interesting to implement, and that'll be for each season. That'll be books you'll be able to find. You guys will be inside the lore. It'll have your names.
I think
cool.
who's the historian though is the question. It could be Pauline. She's kind of has that bent, but it could be somebody else who wants to do it.
I don't
If
know.
somebody wants to be the historian, that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, maybe we might have a special role for that. The documenter kind of guy.
Because Pauline, character-wise, would fit that. She would do something like that, but I also would like the community to have a chance. I'd like to see somebody actually try to piece together the lore by talking to all of us and see what they come up with.
Dude,
that'd be interesting. Like
that would be
their
so
distortions
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah, they get bits and pieces from the task force. Dude, when the 3-day siege happened, legitimately the task force was like that the A10, like there was a shit ton zombies in front of their base, and the A10 just mowed all of them down, and they visibly saw it. Like the shadow, the bullets, everything hit, and it just killed all the zombies.
God.
Dude, it was
the bird boys are here.
I did it perfect for them, dude. And then other people will say, oh, they just heard the A10 in the distance, you know, because it's like it's client based, right? Like you don't all hear it like in your ears
we would
at once.
we would just hear the jet passing overhead.
So some people witnessed it happen in front of them, and some people just heard it from a distance. So like just tying back into, you know, maybe the historian getting different pieces from survivors, you know, maybe we might have a separate role for that. Who knows? We'll think about that more.
In doing it.
We'll think about that more.
Yeah.
But that's,
there's a lot of interesting stuff. As much as we don't really RP in the moment, the story of the server is fairly RP driven.
Yeah. That's how it started, dude.
Everything is done by characters, like done by whatever.
That's how it started, and
more than 3 people, I want to say, Coach.
Yeah. And also, Mikey, appreciate the follow, my boy. Also, my bad, I haven't really been looking at who's been following, who's not. Let me see who stopped by. Also, I appreciate everyone that stopped by. I mean, we got some pretty ambitious plans here, right? Like we wanna make an experience for you guys where it's like, holy shit, I didn't know Zomboid can be like this. You know what I mean? Like I've never experienced this anywhere else. Like holy shit, you know, we want to make it really fun and interesting for you guys.
Yeah. On Caltech's question there, do you want to think about turning off the everyone knows everyone's location?
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's time. I think it's okay to turn it off. I kind of don't like that I can just see everyone on the map at all times.
Well, okay, let me touch on that, and then let me touch on the RP aspect of it as well too, because they both kind of tie into each other. I'm not opposed of it, right? Like the reason why that was the way it is was simply because we're a new server, right? You join a server, and of course, when you join the server, it'll say like 1 out of 32, 2 out of 32, whatever. When you join... Wait, what the fuck's going on? Oh, my character's tripping.
What's going on, what?
Oh, my character's tripping. I might have to restart my game here in a sec. But anyways, when you join, it tells you how much people. So, like, the whole idea behind that was so, like, you can see players on the map and not kind of feel like it's a dead server, right?
Yeah.
That was like the whole kind of like fake it till you make it kind of aspect where it's like, you know, you open the map and you'll... Yeah, now it's, you know what I mean? Now you can actually like like if you look at the mini map, sometimes the whole mini map would just be red if you zoom out. You know, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And it's
that's
there's like I say I think we're past the point now where we need to like people will run into people. I think. I think we're busy enough now that you'll start to encounter people in the wild.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed of it, but that also ties into the RP aspect, right? And I think we should touch on the RP aspect here as well too. So being that we're a month and a half old server, we didn't like, and I was talking to Beholder as well earlier about this. Like we didn't prioritize RP. That wasn't my priority when the server started. It was more so just focusing on onboarding new players, setting up a base foundation for stuff, like whatever it may be, just working on base foundation, loot stuff, zombie stuff. It wasn't really focused on the RP aspect. And the whole goal of the server is really just um a challenging survival, community works together, and there's RP involved if you guys want, right? Like, and it started off with events being that medium for RP, right? It happened with all the events, right? The convoy event, the siege event to a degree. The festival event was like, you know, it was RP'd well too. Now that we are where we are 100% looking into like RP avenues, right? Like we're actively making steps towards that, right? We've got the RP banner, we've got the RP chat. We're gonna add the RP thing into the Discord. I know Wolfie sent something earlier where he's got like a freaking warrant list for people, right? Like they got the police task force, they got like a warrant list. Apparently I'm on the warrant list. I don't know what the hell I did, but I'm on it. And I was
I'm
looking
on
at it
it.
and I was like, yeah, you're on it too. It's tired. He didn't know. But well, looking at it, I do want to implement stuff like that, right? So like, depending on your occupation, you'll have certain privileges, right? So this is just an example, and this is not concrete, but we were talking about, say, the task force, they can say if the admins have like a bounty list, right? Say we've got word that certain people been stealing from so and so, certain people stole vehicles from so and we do our due diligence, or maybe the police do their due diligence. They'll be able to go and serve them a warrant, right? And then they'll appear in court, and we'll have like a little RP court in session. Hey, you stole this, you didn't steal this. Sit in jail for an hour in game, or whatever the case may be, right? Maybe, I don't know, like what else could we think of? Like rangers have like their own specific authoritative their authority to do certain things. Doctors have authority to do certain things. Depending on your occupation, you'll have the authority to do certain things on it. So that will incentivize more so police they're able to go crazy and freaking let me not say crazy, right? Let me be careful with what I say here. They'll be able to do what they want, right? And of course there comes the balance between like, okay, certain players don't want to do it, you know what I mean? Like certain players just want to play. So we need to find a balance in between that as well, and we'll actively be doing that as well. So that's touching on the whole RP aspect as well. Lemon, if you had anything you want to add on to that.
I'm always cautious with like giving roles and stuff to players. I know the limitations of the game kind of prevent us from like truly RPing or whatever, but I always kind of wish you like I would prefer that it's all client side, like all characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you guys are all deciding who's a cop and whether or not you want to listen to them. Because like the last thing I kind of want is people signing up to be the like, you know, he was talking about the Gmod and we were laughing about the experience of like, you know,
Yeah.
there's cops and
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
the
yeah.
good ones, but there's also the like massive amount of ones that are just immediately corrupt because
Yeah,
they think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny. So
And
Um,
if anyone has ever like came from Gary's mod, Dark RP, like they'll know what we're talking about, right? Like the cops have authority to just click a button, lock you up. Now you're sitting in jail for like 20
about
minutes, 10 minutes.
90% of them abuse it instantly. Like,
Right? You're just
there's
sitting in
no
jail and you're
hesitation.
waiting for someone to come and talk to you. So you gotta put in a ticket for a mod to come in and discuss it. And now you're sitting across a mod who's the cop is there, the mod is there, and now there's like a little court hearing. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah, but
finding the balance between that.
I'm definitely willing to like put my personal feelings on that aside. If it works, it works. I'm more than happy to make it work.
Yeah, yeah, same.
I whatever we decide to do, I can make it work. Sure, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some bugs on the way there, but you know, hey, shit happens.
Shit happens, dude. And also, I probably should have started off this whole entire Q&A saying well, I mean, it's more so just us like talking about shit, but we'll get to questions and stuff. We'll definitely take questions and stuff. We'll actually take questions after this, and then we'll move on to the segment of the underground city thing. But I probably should have started off saying like we're super ambitious. Lemon is super ambitious, as am I. I like to simplify things for him. Right? Like I don't want to fucking put too much work on his table. Right? He's got a lot of shit to work on, so I like to simplify as much things as possible. But we're super ambitious. We'll try our best to do all this shit, and like if it doesn't work, we'll die trying. You know, like on some 50 Cent shit. You know what I mean? Like we'll do it until we just simply can't, and we'll just revert back
And
to simple Zomboid, and we'll work from simple Zomboid, right? But we'll.
I'm far too stupid to know the limits of my abilities. So I will
Mm-hmm.
just brute force until it works. Which is both good and bad. It
Double-edged sword.
has its ups and downs. More
But
downs.
I say this to
That's bad.
say, like, bear with us. You've seen our previous events. Like, we'll try to tailor an experience for Zomboid that you guys will probably never fucking forget. Like, I mean, people already told us, like, holy shit, he's, never experienced a server like that. And whether you're being nice to me or not, we appreciate that feedback, and we'll just we'll keep gunning it, dude. We'll keep gunning it until we're out of ammo, bro. And then we'll just goddamn revert back to reclaiming Kentucky if that's the case, and we'll revert back to just making the regular gameplay loop better. You know what I mean? So I'll say that. I'm a little back in here.
Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
bear with us because we're not game designers. I'm sure that we're going to
By far.
implement something that's like obviously stupid. So give us like a little bit of leeway on that. Like we're going to put something in and you're going to be like, why the did they do this? And that's the answer is because we're stupid and bad.
But
Give us a
also,
break.
no, but also too, you guys gotta understand, like we fucking sit down and we talk about this shit in depth. Like we go through all the scenarios of why we should implement this and why we shouldn't. As you guys can see, like with the not announcing wipes, like we told you why. Getting rid of the journal loop, gameplay loop, we told you why. Like we go through literally everything. So there is a reason why we make the changes we make it, but also, just give us your feedback as well, too. Like don't kick us while we're down. We're trying our best here, but give us your 2 cents as well. We always take that into consideration. We always take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's
question time, I think.
Oh yeah, let's get into questions. Let's get into questions. Let's I know there were some questions here that we weren't able to get to. Full wipe like player and territories. This is Pivot, right? So Pivot goes full wipe question mark. Full wipe. Hijab. Who will be writing it? Okay, so he's going. Okay, yeah. So this is gonna be a little scuffed because it's going back in time here. Let's
Yeah, I don't know how to go to the YouTube one.
just I'll drop you a link.
Listen, dude, I might know how to program, but I'm still a boomer, alright?
He's a fucking boomer, mate. He's a goddamn boomer. Oh, I didn't even see this. Is this like underground? Is this like underground walls?
Yeah, that's the new. Yeah.
It's foundation. It's the foundation, eh?
That's. I can now excavate. I can do all that stuff. You can't see it, but each of those. I'll show you here. So this is like basically algorithmically generated, but when you're digging, post it here. When you're digging it like randomly assigns a type to the dirt. So loam, shale, right? Like there's up to 6 types. It's right now it's literally just random, not random. It's algorithmic, but this is the foundation for like having stone, limestone, iron, coal, all the shit that we would need to like functionally have a interesting underground. So that's there, like conceptually or not conceptually, framework wise, that's there. So what I might have to do is manually decide where all this shit goes, but I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna find a way to make it kind of algorithmically, like I'm gonna steal Minecraft's algorithm, to be honest. But I'm gonna find out how they generate interesting underground shit. I'm just gonna use that.
We had a server upgrade, so basically I don't know if you're still in the server, but yeah, I don't know if I quarantined you. But it's to join, you just hit the let me show you here. You basically go to how to join. We've got a server update, and with that we've got an IP change and a port change. So all you got to do is just click on edit for the multiplayer tab. When you're clicking on the server, just click edit and then add in new IP and a port. That's how you join. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, dude. That's freaking interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what a loam or shale is, but
who is Sandy Loam and why can't I reach her?
Is that where it's from?
It's a meme. Don't worry about it.
Okay, but that's fucking cool. I like that.
Yeah, loam is just a type of like topsoil, basically. It's like I don't know how to describe it. I think it's like a substrate.
Yeah.
I'm not a geologist. I don't fucking know like rock shit.
And while everyone is here, can you just briefly explain the ATM machine and like maybe how people can acquire it, what its function is, what its upcoming functions is? Because I know it's going to be the base. It's going to be an important cornerstone for the server.
Yeah, so the ATM is pretty key to us having the ability to have big ass factions, and a whole lot of other stuff, which is going to come from it later. But basically, what the ATM is doing is it looks like an infinite storage thing, and that's what it is functionally to the players, to you guys. But for what it's actually doing is it's removing data from the chunk that you put it in. The largest single problem with loading chunks is when they get so big that they overcome your RAM limit in a single loaded instance. And the way you can make a chunk that big is by adding shitloads of items. The way that Zomboid stores items, there's this kind of misconception that if it's left on the ground, it's like more memory, but it's all containers. Everything is a container. The floor is a container. Everything's a container. So items being in containers is just as bad. A little bit less bad because there's no position data, but it's still pretty bad. And when you have 7,000 items in a single chunk, the chunk exceeds the 3 gigabyte RAM limit that the average player starts with because it's limited by the client. And then they crash when they load that chunk because they don't have time to clear out their old RAM because it instantly just filled up their entire RAM. So the ATM is just a tool to let you delete those items. They're deleted from the game, and stored as a ledger in your name or your faction's name. And to build it, it's one electronics, one welding, 3 steel sheets, and 3 electronic scrap, I think, or somewhere around there.
2 steel
And
sheets and 5 electronic scrap.
5 electronic scrap. And then you claim it either as your personal one or as your faction one. And then it has a whole crapload of features. You can search it or whatever. It has 100 capacity at a time to load it. The way it works is you open the regular loot interface like as if you're opening a normal box. You put in all the crap you want to store into it, up to 100 encumbrance. You click deposit either on the loot window or in the interface for the ATM, and then it deletes all those items and stores them on the ledger as like a list, right? And if you want to withdraw, it's the same thing but reverse. You go into the UI, you select the items you want to withdraw, you withdraw them, they appear in that inventory that you dumped everything in to store it, and then you pull them out of there. So it basically spawns things into this tray or removes them from this tray. And yeah, it's simple to use. It's not super complicated. It has a search feature. You can transfer items between each other. There's plans to make like a time limit on that, but whatever. You can transfer items between players. You can transfer items between factions. You can, like, if you delete the ATM or if like it gets
Wait, give me a sec. Oh, wait a minute. Hello.